Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about manifesting money and the scarcity mindset. I could probably talk about this for hours, so I'm going to focus on the most basic points that I can share. Now, my computer was kind of being a little laggy, so I'm hoping that this recording comes through okay. Looks like everything's fine. I hope so. Manifesting money is difficult because, well, maybe it's not difficult, but I've heard a lot of coaches and people on YouTube talk about how it really depends on if you were raised with money growing up. That is not necessarily true. While I'm sure it is a lot easier to manifest money if you had abundance growing up, abundance is not money. You can have an abundance of money, but abundance is not money. So let's go over what abundance is first, because it's the opposite of scarcity. Now scarcity, well, I said I was going over abundance first, but we're going to do scarcity first. Scarcity is the belief that there is not enough to go around of anything. It can be that you have very specific desires for a romantic partner or for a friend. Maybe you want someone that has very, the same interests as you in categories, and you think it's just really rare to find people that are interested in all of those things. Maybe you have, the same applies to, a romantic partner. It's your mindset. The idea that just because this might be more rare, it's now going to be more difficult for you to receive it. You can look at things logically and say, because I want XYZ, this is going to lower my pool of potential partners or friends. That's fine. But there is an abundance of you being able to have the desired relationship with those people. For example, as I've grown spiritually, I've really shifted the types of relationships I have, and because my personal spiritual journey has been very intense and it has been very different than what I have seen in the mainstream, it had made me feel alone a lot of the time. I felt like I was very alone on my path, and I really wanted people that could help connect with me to put it into perspective and just give me the support that I was seeking as I was learning to support myself. I wanted to know that there are other people like me. So I ended up connecting with those people once I finally believed that it was possible. I connected with them, and a lot of them I didn't meet in person. It's actually come to be I'll meet one of those people in person through something unrelated or seemingly unrelated to my brain. And then, now I know their friends, and then they know my friends, and we've been building this community that way. Or I happen to, have a conversation with someone on a video game I play, and they have similar beliefs. Or people I've already known suddenly come to me being like, hey, you seem spiritual, what's your take on this? And then we're connecting on the level I desired. So there is an abundance of this available to you. Sure, statistically, it could be a low number of what you want, but that has nothing to do with abundance. Has nothing to do with abundance. You could want a car that they only made 100 of. It's your brain that's telling you that's harder to get. There's 100 of those cars out there, and you could have all 100. This is just an example. I don't know if that's really a thing with, I'm sure it's a thing with cars. I'm sure there's there's limited edition of stuff all the time. Anyway. So when it comes to specifically scarcity as it pertains to abundance, now abundance is the belief that no matter how slim your chances or how few the thing is or how rare it seems to be, maybe it's like going viral or becoming a celebrity or getting a record deal or getting a role in a movie, whatever your odds are, I don't care how slim they are, it's scarcity to think that just because there's a low number of something or slim chances, it cannot be yours, or it will be harder for it to be yours. Abundance is feeling that there is an infinite of possibility and potential for you. Now, if you get into quantum physics which I'm sure if you're following me, because I do lean towards that side of things, or at least incorporate it, I'm sure that you're somewhat familiar. But there's an infinite possibility of, there's infinite universes and realities for you to align yourself to. So I don't care how many of those realities don't have the thing you want, you can align yourself to the one where you have the thing you want. And abundance is feeling that that is always available to you, and that you are always taken care of and supported in all ways. And this is all types of resources: food, water, love, emotional support, opportunities, going to events, having fun, whatever it is. There's an abundance of all things. Now, when we start working on scarcity mindset, we typically are focused on money, because that's the one that our society focuses on so heavily, is your finances. And we've been conditioned to think that if we have low finances, we should be scared. It can induce a lot of anxiety if we don't have stable finances. And I know people that they're constantly overdrafting, and they have negative account balances, that have an abundance mindset, and they're always correcting it, but they're never getting more than that. And then I know people that have tens of thousands in savings, and it's not enough for them, and they have scarcity mindset, and they're terrified. So abundance is just knowing that you're taken care of no matter what, and that there's limitless potential, and you're not limiting yourself anymore, and you're not feeling limited. I will say society, media, whatever, we have been greatly conditioned to buy into scarcity, and I'll go over some of those things. So going back to my point of, I've heard if you grew up with money, then it's easier to manifest money, and if you grew up without money, then it's harder. I'll just share a little bit about my family. My father, so I'm third generation on both sides, and my father's parents worked a very hard, very dangerous job. My grandfather worked in the mines, and he did his best to feed his family, but they went without sometimes, and it wasn't an easy childhood. And my dad knew what it was like to really appreciate what you could get, and really strove to expand that abundance in his life. And honestly, just studying my father is very fascinating as I've come to understand manifestation, because I've talked about it in another video. I've been trying to figure out how he manifests everything he wants without any sort of techniques or anything, and it is that he has unwavering faith and belief that this is how it has to be, and that this is the way it will be, and he will be taken care of, and he will get the thing he wants. And if he just does the steps that he feels will lead him to that, it will come to be, and so it is. Now, on the flip side, my mother is a very interesting story. She grew up more taken care of than my father, and had I think middle class, upper middle class, I don't know what it would be considered in that time frame. Had a very, very nice childhood. And what's so interesting is their different mindsets, because when my grandfather on my mother's side, long story short, he got screwed over in a business deal, which was a big deal, and it bankrupted his company. And he didn't tell his family. So my mom was visiting from college, and she was taking a nap. She was the only one home. She hears a knock on the door. She wakes up from a nap, answers the door to repo man coming to take everything. And so my mother felt what it felt like to think that you were safe and to have everything taken away. Not really. Of course, they were left with plenty to survive. It wasn't that bad, but it traumatized my mother in terms of scarcity. And an interesting pair my parents are, that my dad provides so much and did in my childhood, still does for our family, and my mother still has scarcity mindset. I don't want to get too into their current situation, but it baffles me that my mother will still worry about such small things that really are very insignificant and have no impact in her financial status, but it's her mindset. And it's really interesting to watch how the two counteract. Anyway, so moving on from that, I took on my mother's scarcity mindset. So even though I grew up in abundance, I was very privileged growing up. I took on the scarcity mindset, and when it was time for me to go off on my own, I have done nothing but manifest the bare minimum for myself because I felt that's what I deserved. And I have this, something I've seen in social conditioning as well, but I already had it, was this: if I take less, there's more for others. I had this belief, I'm still probably working on it, that if I give myself the bare minimum and only take the bare minimum, there will be more for others, but that if I'm taking too much, I'm taking away from other people. Now, of course, if you have this belief, it's going to manifest into your life, into situations that are going to reinforce it. But the truth is that there's an abundance available to everyone, and somebody else's scarcity mindset is not your responsibility, because that was something that I struggled with in starting to heal this, was other people's scarcity mindset. You might feel attacked by it depending on your situation, how much you're trying to correct. So I had a very negative relationship with money, and it's something I've been healing. And interestingly enough, I share my personal experiences because that's how I learned in life, and so this is how I'm helping teach other people, hopefully. What I have been doing over the past few years is, because I had a negative relationship with money and I was switching into abundance and I was healing my scarcity issues, I shut out money. And I wanted to manifest abundance with as little money necessary as possible. People might be like, well, Alex, you need to buy your food, and you need to buy, water and your electric bill and your apartment and your car payment. And if you want to go do things with friends, you need to buy your tickets, and you need to do this, and you need to buy clothes. No, you do not. No, you do not. I manifest people giving me their hand-me-downs, whether it's food. I've had friends be like, I bought this whole thing of kiwis, and I don't know why, but I'm just not going to eat it. Do you want it? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I had a friend be like, oh, I started working out more, and my shirts just don't fit me the same, but I just bought them. Here's all these clothes. Do you want them? I did a whole video on this because it was a very specific material I was manifesting that I wanted. This sweater is beautiful, hand-me-down from my sister, who just goes through fashion like that. So I've learned that you do not need money for the things that you want. You just need to believe that it's possible. And I mean, you might say, okay, well, food and clothes is one thing, but someone can't give you a car payment. No, and you know what, honestly, I have the belief that that's the one thing that you probably do need money for, but if you're renting, you never know. There are situations that come up where someone might want to do an exchange or a trade for services or an exchange of goods. One of my friends is doing an exchange of services basically, and has a free gym membership and training because of what they're providing in return for the owner of that business. And they just decided that they didn't really want to take on the expense of their gym anymore, but they still wanted to go, and boom, it just came through. They didn't even say, oh, I wonder if there is, it just happened for them. So what I have been practicing is seeing abundance without money as much as possible. And now that I have learned and felt safe and secure, and I've gone through situations where I didn't know what was going to happen to me next, I didn't know where I was going to end up, but I was always taken care of and supported in those moments and in those transitions in life, and I always landed on my feet and in an abundance of safety and security. It deconstructed all those beliefs in my brain of what I needed to survive and showed me what I could have to thrive, honestly. So now that I've sort of healed my relationship with money, because I see that I'm fine without it, I think I resented it because I felt like I needed it to survive, and I'm the kind of person I am. I don't like feeling like I need somebody else's helper, like the help of other people. And it's something I've been healing, but money was kind of like the last victim in my mindset here. And so now that I am finally in a place where I see that I have everything I need, I am always supported, I am ready to sit down and have a conversation with money. And this is where you want to look at your relationship with money. And I don't mean as transactions or the times that you felt that you didn't have enough. I want you to really feel, if you can, that money is its own entity or being. And sit down and have a mental conversation with it, even if it's nonverbal and you're just feeling how it feels moving through different areas of your body, feeling what emotions, colors, just feel what comes up for yourself. I saw a video on the internet of a woman talking about how her relationship with money, she treats it like it's a person. Like when she's in a room, money wants to come talk to her. Money knows that if it hangs out with her, it's going to have a good time, that she's going to take care of it. There's so many different mindsets that we can shift into having with money, but I think that when we don't have a positive relationship with it, it's, we have to fix that foundation first. So there's a million tips and tricks on the internet that are going to help you manifest money once you've healed whatever the root thing is. But scarcity mindset comes from the feeling that probably, it's a fear. So why is it a fear? Do you feel that you aren't worthy of these things? I had major, so I shouldn't say had, because I'm probably going to forever be working on it to some degree, but I've had to work on a lot of my self-worth. And so just looking at what I know and understand, that's where my scarcity came from, that I don't deserve to have more than, other people or certain people, or, that person's a single mother, they deserve it more than me, or that person's struggling more, so they deserve this money more than I do. It was such a finite thing because I didn't know about abundance. So educate yourself as much as you can on abundance and abundance mindset. And you know what helped me? Oh, I thought I had the book next to me, but I do not. It is Louise Hay's, Hay. I can never remember if there's an E on the end, but if you Google Louise Hay, it'll come up. She's very popular. Her book, You Can Heal Your Life, it helped me work through so much, and I go through that book all the time. It's very easy to read. It's pretty quick too, and it's like put in sections of relationships and romantic relationships and money and business and all of it. It's very well organized. It even has a section from her book, You Can Heal Your Body, where she talks about how different physical ailments are manifestations of different lack and how to specifically address it. So I highly recommend that book. It helped me a ton, but this is my video, 18 minutes on manifesting money and healing scarcity. Like I said, I just wanted to give you guys a foundational understanding to work on addressing those blocks, those wounds, and then once you have really healed those things, you can go ahead and, apply techniques to it that are specifically affirming for money. But oftentimes it's not really just money. These things are manifesting in other ways too. So when you do take a look at what's going on with you and your relationship with money, see if you can see how that's been reflected in your personal relationships, either with your family, your friends, your romantic partners, or even your coworkers, because I'm sure it's turning up somewhere else. So I'm gonna leave it here for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you had an amazing day. This video was a request, so if anybody else has any requests, let me know. I have a long list of things I want to talk to you guys about, but if there's something you really want to hear right now, I will gladly move it up, because I love interacting with you guys and building a relationship with you as much as you can through a YouTube video. So let me know how things are going for you. I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.